I just installed these brand new air vents with ambient lights that change the dash from this to this. Let's dive right in. So inside the box is going to come in two parts. One, you're going to get 4 brand new AC vents, and you're going to get the wiring harness that you're going to need to wire it up. Pro tip, I always recommend using a 9-volt battery to test the product to make sure that it works before you do the installation. The first step is to remove the climate control section. The next step is to remove the screen bezel by undoing the 2 Phillips head screwdrivers underneath. The next step is to remove this top dash panel. There's one single Phillips screw that's holding it in. You want to remove that. It's above the dash on the right hand side. Then the rest of this panel is in with metal clips. You're going to start in one end and you want to just pull back and it should come all the way off. I have taken this off before, so it's a little bit easier. The first time it's going to be very difficult. These clips really strong. With the top of the dash removed, you can now remove the 8 Phillips bolts that are on the front of the dash fascia. The driver's side fascia can now be pulled away. There's some metal clips at the bottom. You just want to be very careful and just firmly pull away. To get the passenger side off, you need to pull this panel where the airbag is. I pulled it off previously and it has these really annoying blue clips. They've all fallen off. I found one in the glove compartment. I'm going to have to save one to stick back on. Behind that, there's 2 more Phillips screws that you want to undo and then remove this panel. By the way, for some of these screws, I'm using a number 7mm socket because some of them are very hard to get and some of them are very tight. This is a much easier approach. Before you pull this away, you need to remove the airbag bolts. You want to open up the glove compartment, lift up the arm, it'll undo, and then you just want to pull away. That'll come down. There's 2 13mm bolts that are up top. You want to use an extension to undo those, detach the airbag clips, and then you'll be able to pull this away. Now there's some clips on each side that are holding it in. You can firmly pull away, and the fascia will be able to be removed. With the dash panels out of the Jeep now, you can use a T15 to undo the 3 bolts that are holding down each of the AC vents. We're going to reuse the hardware, so make sure you put it somewhere safe. So just for fun, I thought it would be a great comparison to see the factory air vent versus the new air vent. Obviously this one is much nicer. It does have a cool mechanism that allows you to open and close. You can see on the back you can open and close. Obviously this does have the ambient LED light, and do take note that on the top side you'll see it does have the same marking as the factory, which lets you know which position these individual air vents need to go. It's also important to know that there is a bezel on the factory air vents that you need to use a flathead screwdriver, and be very careful to slide the bezel off. It is plastic and you will crack it if you are not patient, so you just want to apply some forward pressure, and when you get enough of these clips undone, it will simply pop right off. When you get the bezel from the factory vent, you want to put it onto the aftermarket vent with the associated writing, so LHO, LHO. They only do go on one way, so you can kind of rotate it until you get all of the clips lined up. And when it's lined up, you can just press down to pop it into place. I'm now going to start off by putting them onto the driver's side. I have a left-hand side Jeep, so you want to make sure that you get them in the correct orientation. Again, it's labeled. The C and the O stand for center and outer. So this is outer for me, and they only go in one way. So you'll be able to see they fit right in. Same thing on this side, fit right in. And then you're going to use the factory hardware to screw them down. We're just going to repeat the process on the passenger side, making sure that you get them in the right orientation. They're going to fit right into place, and you're going to use the factory screws to bolt them down. So check it out, guys. We got them in. I love the look. It's certainly an upgrade to the factory ones. Now let's talk about wiring. We got two main options. The first is to run it to the switch pod that's in the hood, and then we can control the ambient lights with the switches that are down below. Alternatively, we could also run it to a power source like the 12-volt cigarette lighter that comes on when the ignition is on. I think that's the one I'm going to go to, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that now. So the next step is to get the wiring done. The wiring harness comes with 4 of these tabs at different lengths. The longest one is going to need to go to the furthest bend. So we're going to fish it through there, and then we're going to get it over to the other side. Once that's done, the other ones are all going to line up. So one's going to go there, one's going to go there, and one's going to go to the furthest one on the driver's side. With all the wires fished to their appropriate spots, we can now start to put the dash back together. So first thing that we want to do is plug all of these in. They only plug in one way. We're going to repeat the process on the passenger side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this lower dash panel, and there's one screw at the top holding it in with some clips. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and access the back of the 12-volt cigarette lighter so that I can splice power from that. So I'm going to unplug that right here, and then I'm going to use this power source to power up our ambient lights. So to steal power from the cigarette lighter, we're going to use a splice clip, and this is just an easy way to be able to hook on with just this tiny clip. So I'm going to run the wire. I use the process of elimination to figure out which wires I need to use. Obviously the black is the ground, that one's very easy. And then on this side I just plugged it into the front to see which of these two gave me the power. I figured out that it was the pink one, so now I'm going to attach this splice clip onto the back of this pink wire. I just plugged this back in. I'm going to put this back in place, screw in the screw, and then put our climate control, and then we'll test it out. Now we got to put all the screws back together, so start the time lapse and then we'll talk about our power source. So we just got them installed and I'm super happy with they turned out. They are cool factor times 10. Obviously these are not going to help you off-road, and they're certainly not going to help you on-road either. But if you're looking for something cool to upgrade the interior of your Jeep, this is definitely something that I would recommend. I'm going to leave it below so you can go over there and check it out. I only have one complaint, and that's the price. When you click on the link below, you'll find out for yourself. If you do decide to get them, be sure to use AdventureX discount code linked below. So there you have it, guys. That's where this video is going to end. If you enjoyed it and found it valuable, don't forget to smash that thumbs up rating and subscribe to join Team AdventureX for weekly Jeep videos. As always, I'm AdventureX. Don't forget, keep on Jeep.